I'm making pho my way today, so these are the ingredients that I use: some sliced white mushrooms, cilantro, fresh green onions, the rice noodles, some bok choy, jalapenos, onions, limes. Starting the video out by showing y'all all the ingredients that I use, and also going to show y'all the condiments. And the ingredients is going to include the seasoning and herbs. So we have bean sprouts, beef broth, and carrots. And for the meats, we had some beef short ribs and some sirloin steak. Star anise, cinnamon, beef bouillon, onion powder, garlic powder, coriander, ground cloves, ginger, and for the toppings we had soy sauce, hoisin sauce, the Kinder's teriyaki marinade with garlic and ginger, the Melinda's Thai sweet chili sauce, and the chili onion crunch. And also had garlic and fennel seed. Went ahead and washed my beef short ribs and put them on to boil for about 25 minutes. We will be pouring this water off our ribs and boiling them again in some clean water. I'm going to take our charred onion and add it to the pot with our first boiling. And my beef ribs have boiled for about 25 minutes. I'm going to get those drained and I'm going to go ahead and cut up another onion and get it charred up for my final pot of beef broth. And while I was doing this, my daughter, she was cutting up all of our vegetables, and I just took the ends of the green, and I just kept the ends of the green onions to add to my pot of beef broth along with the onion. Just a helpful tip: if y'all have any vegetables in your refrigerator that's going to go to the bad soon and you're not going to eat them, bell peppers, onions, broccoli, green onions, don't throw them out. Put them in a Ziploc bag and throw them in your freezer, and you can use them for broth later on, vegetable broth, to use with your soups or anything with flavor in your foods. Now I got my ribs back in the clean water. I'm going to go ahead and add some beef broth to my pot. If you're feeding a crowd of people, you're going to need a whole lot of broth for the meal. That's why I ended up buying 2 containers of beef broth to go along with the broth that's coming off naturally off my short ribs, along with the water that I added. You can see my pot was nearly filled up with water, and I just continued filling it up with my beef broth. Going ahead and adding all my seasonings to my pot. If you don't have all these spices at home already, there is a packet that you can go on Amazon and buy for the pho. Since I already had the majority of them at home, I opted out not to get that and just use what I had. I did have to buy the coriander and the star anise, and I did add some black pepper too, and some minced garlic. Now we have all our seasonings added to our pot. We still have to get some of our spices in, and that is the cinnamon and star anise. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and get it in the skillet and get it heated up to bring out some of the fragrant aromas. Now that we got our spices all heated up, I'm going to go ahead and add them to the broth and get the lid on the pot. And I'm going to cook this for about an hour and a half. I'm just giving everything one last stir. Now while that's on to boil, I'm going to go ahead and get my steak cut up so I can get it marinated and get it in the refrigerator until it's time to cook it. The next time around I make this dish, I will not be cutting up my steak beforehand. I will go ahead and get it marinated, put it in the skillet, just cook it as a whole piece of steak. I won't be cutting it at all. I'll cook it for a few minutes on each side in butter. Then I'll put it in my aluminum foil and just tin it, close it up in my aluminum foil and let it sit there about a good 10 minutes. And then I'll slice it, and then we'll use it that way, because I ended up cooking my steak a little too long the way I cooked it. After 12 minutes, I took the star anise out of the pot because I didn't want it to taste too much like the star anise, which has a licorice flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and add my sea salt. And after my broth cooks for so long, I did go back in and give it a taste, see if I needed to add any more seasonings. And I did add some more of the garlic powder and onion powder. So go ahead and saute up your steak, ever how you want to cook it. And while you're cooking your steak, it's wise to go ahead and get your water on for your rice noodles. And for cooking your rice noodles, just follow directions on the back, which I added them to boiling water, and they just cook for 6 to 7 minutes. And then I strained them in cold water. For this step, you don't have to do this, but I chose to cook my mushrooms. And I did add just a little bit of olive oil to the pan, but then I thought to add me some of my broth to the mushrooms to go ahead and cook them just a little bit to get them good and softened. And now my broth is all done. Everything is smelling so good, and those ribs are so good and tender. This is my first time ever cooking pho, ever having pho. Y'all, it was so good. It's just so flavorful. Y'all seen all the herbs and spices that we added in there. If y'all have not tried this dish, y'all give it a try. There's bukus of recipes out here on TikTok that you can choose from to make this dish. Now I'm just putting everything together, adding all of my vegetables. I did have a whole lot of vegetables left, and I was able to make this dish for 2 days. I did have to buy extra meat, but everything else I had plenty left over with the noodles and, like I said, all of the vegetables. And if you do like I do, had all your spices at home, or maybe you have to buy a couple of spices, you will have spices too. I definitely recommend that hoisin sauce, the chili crunch, and the Melinda's Thai sweet chili sauce, and that Kinder's marinade teriyaki sauce. So good. And this is how the pho came out. And there's my limes on my plate. I didn't have that for garnish as well. Here is my daughter's bowl. She wanted some chopsticks, but I didn't have any chopsticks. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope y'all make it some pho. Like I said, it's not authentic. It was just pho my way. See y'all on the next one. Bye. Love y'all.